Welcome to the podcast. This is Big Reptile Talk, and we have a special one today. I'm super excited. We having an interview with Brian Kusko. We're not going to keep him long, but I'm super excited for this round two. For the simple fact, what I told him backstage was, he was he was one of the very first people to give me a shot. So, I'm just super excited to get that round two and just see what he's up to. So, without further ado, real quick too, before we bring him in. As always, shout out to Venom-Proof Cages, and also shout out to Ozzy Boys, two amazing supporters of the channel. So make sure you go check them out. They have shown me nothing but love, and I love both of them. So let's get this started, man. Let's bring in Mr. Kusko himself. How you doing today, sir?
I'm not too bad. I've had better days. I've had a bit of pain going on today, so it's not the best I've had in the last week or so. But I kind of got it worked out in my back a little bit, and it's going okay. I've had worse, had better.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that, man. But
I'm just being honest. It's all good. It's just if I'm not doing so good, then I don't say that I am doing great because I'm not.
right. Right. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do now. I'm just excited to have you on here because, I want to lead with me personally. I've been doing a lot of interviews. And when I talk to guys like you, I talk to you, Ozzy Boyd, Justin Kabelka, Brian Barchek. It's just something special when I talk to you, and it's just, like I said, it's just something special about you guys. And it just really does something for me. So I say that to ask you, you yourself have done just so many interviews, tons of them. And I want to know, what are some of the ones that just really did something for you that were really just special to you?
There's been a lot, and I have done a lot at this point. There's something like 200 plus, I think, at this point. And there's different moments. A lot of the ones. That's a good question. See, this is why I like this. This is why I appreciate your show. This is why I was glad that I jumped in the first time, because you ask good questions, you're engaged, you do a good job at it. I feel like a lot of people want to do something like this, and it's not for everybody. I don't think everybody has the way like you do. You're very engaging, and you have good questions. So anyway, to answer your question, a lot of the ones I had recently at Tinley that haven't hit the air yet. There's some really good ones there. Some that may not actually hit the air. There are ones where we're getting pretty deep. I won't throw out any names, but there was one in particular where we were both kind of breaking down in tears. That one may not hit, but for me personally, it was a very special one for me. There was another one that will definitely hit the air. Like we had Chase Patton from now Canova was on at the Tinley show, and there was just something really deep there, like you're saying, that feeling that you get. It was just there between Chase and I during that interview, and again, a lot of them just felt like really special. That past Tinley, there's so many. There's ones that resonate in good ways. There's one that resonate in like that bring up bad memories sometimes, just because of like how maybe relationships have moved since then, or or even just the response that you'd get, like you interview somebody thinking, oh, it's gonna be, a good idea to do this, and then you get all this backlash for having done the interview. It's like, well, that sucks. And which is kind of where I've been today a bit when thinking about reptile stuff and reptile videos and community, which feels unfair for me to do a little bit because there's so much good. The good certainly outweighs the bad, in my opinion, as far as community goes. But there's certainly some that comes. There's definitely that need for people to attack other people within the hobby. It's still out there, and it bugs me every time I see it. It just because of all the good things I've seen happen within the community and all the power that can happen when people rally together behind a cause. It's just like it takes away from it that much more when I see people doing it, knowing that it'll probably never really ever completely go away. Maybe in any community, it's something I always hope for, and it seems like I'm just a dreamer for hoping things like that. But it's really nice when it works out that way. It's really nice when it goes that way. Which again, it tends to most of the time, I think, or maybe that's just my rose-colored glasses perspective. But it seems that most of the time it does go that way. But I have been
Right,
having those
right.
thoughts again, like today and this evening. I'm just like, man, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes that really sucks.
Right, right, right. I love that. I love that answer, man. With you, you being so amazing at what you do, I want to ask you, what are some of your current projects? Are you doing anything right now during this season, breeding wise?
Just had our first litter of boa constrictor occidentalis, first litter of any kind of snakes, live birth with joint pairing with my buddy Travis Johnson over at Living Legless Reptiles, who just moved a couple days ago physically to Tennessee. Drove away like I think it was 3 days ago now. Um, so that's awesome. Got a few babies from that litter, and they're just incredible. That was a lot of fun. That's kind of a big one for me. This reptile stuff goes like I'm small time. You know what I mean? I'm not big. I'm not some super knowledgeable herpetologist. I don't produce like clutch after amazing clutch or work with the rarest species or the boa constrictor occidentalis. So there's not too many people producing those, and it was again big thanks to my buddy Travis to do the joint pairing there. He had the big female, which I didn't have ready. So I am working on some triple hets for ball python stuff this season, and stuff that'll be a big project for me. The multiple het when you get into triple het and quadrecessive projects, that's a lot of time that you have to put in. A lot of waiting, not compared to breeding tortoises or something like that, but still more time than say I don't know waiting in line at the bank or at the DMV. There's I think I'd say that's it. Between just having produced the boa constrictor occidentalis litter, this new video I just put out today with my buddy Matty down here in our county. He's a buddy of mine. We played in a band together for a while, and he's got this live plant shop, and he's looking to start incorporating. He just got into reptiles. He's been into music for a long time. He got into plants during COVID, and he's just getting into reptiles. He just got his first chameleon, and he's going to start doing like fully scaped out enclosures for people, like building out plants, and because he knows everything about plants. Well, not everything. He wouldn't tell you that, but he does know a lot about plants now, and he's very good at making plants work and knowing how they will work in any kind of environment or any kind of enclosure, aquascape, things like that. And so that's exciting for me too, to watch him put that in. And as I mentioned in the video earlier today, there is some animal coming at me that I guess has been coming at me for a long time. Somebody that has watched the channel and knew I had a mutual friend that they could reach out to get me this animal. It's supposed to be coming next week. I don't know what it is, but I'm excited to take that animal and combine it with something Maddie's doing with his live planting enclosures and put those two worlds together and have that be featured on the channel. And it seems like it'd be cool. That's what I love, is finding people I know, finding people I love, combining all of those worlds together as much as possible. I'm still trying to figure out how to combine whiskey and snakes, but
I love that. I love that. Now, I want to go back to the interview question, man. I had Potter on a couple of days ago, and he gave me some good information that I'm excited for because I'm planning on going to Tinley in March. Did you know that he's planning on putting the interview rooms in there for you guys that do podcasts or do on-site interviews? Did you hear about that?
Robin Markland over at Robin Markland, who started Reptile Report and was the partner that started Ship Your Reptiles and now has Redline. He was talking with me a couple days ago. He sent me a message, asked me if I had talked to Brian recently, and I was like, no, I haven't talked to him yet. But yeah, he was kind of alluding to some of that stuff. I think that tonight, no, not tonight. There's a show happening right now somewhere. Excuse me.
I think it's somewhere.
Anyway, they're all. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm drinking a carbonated drink over here. They're supposed to. I don't know. They're having some kind of dinner about exactly what you're saying and talking about more details of that. They're going to get me in on FaceTime too to talk with them about it. So I have heard a little bit about what's happening with that. That sounds awesome. I think it's a really good idea. And I know a big part of what they're going off of is they had this kind of epiphany because when Emily and Ed from Snake Discovery went to the recent Tinley show, they invited people to dress up in onesies, and like the first however many people they saw that were in onesies, they were going to feature on their video at Tinley. And I think they got like 100 something people showed up in one. I was planning to I thought about coming in a onesie, but I just didn't have space in my bag because I like to do fun stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I think that was kind of part of it. That was definitely part of what sparked it. That kind of like opened their eyes, like, wow, there's this whole generation of keepers and new herpers and reptile enthusiasts out there that those old guys, as they said it themselves, as Brian, not Brian said to you, but Robin said, they're out of touch with, and they don't know anything about. They don't know them. They don't, and they're like, we need to do something to, welcome that new generation in and mix it with the old generation. Since they're the guys who put it on, they're the old guys, they're the old heads, they're the ones in charge of making those events happen. They want to really pay some, I don't know, just make it very welcoming for that crowd to come in and kind of embrace the younger generation coming in. So that's the epiphany they had from that. And yeah, I have heard
Right.
it, and I'm pretty excited for that right there. I love that. Like,
I can't wait to see it, because like you said, that's going to bridge the gap. Social media is going to just bring everybody together. And, you get the older people in there, the younger people like you're going to be in there bringing us some amazing on-site interviews. So I'm excited for that. Now, you've been in the hobby for such a long time. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
No. I would be interrupting you, but to say that you called me one of the young guys. I'm just curious, like, how long I'm going to be able to keep that. I'm 40 now, so
you got that young face. You know what I mean?
it's good lighting right now.
I love that. Now, you've been in the hobby for so long, and I've seen you at Brewer's Place. I've seen you, I believe, at Nerd. You've toured a lot of facilities. Is there anybody's facility that you haven't toured, like JKR's, Ozzy's? Are there some facilities that you want to visit?
Oh, there's tons. There's so many that I haven't, and I haven't really been. So I got my first pet snake at 4. Yes, I did keep reptiles throughout my entire childhood. I, at the age of late going to school and stuff, I was out of it, and then moving to Hawaii. So I was out for like a good 15 years or whatever it was before I came back, or 12 years, and so I'm also a newbie. As long as I've been keeping reptiles, I'm very much a noob at the same time. It's kind of an interesting perspective I think I have. So if I had been here in the States and actually in the reptile hobby for the past continuously without that decade and a half gap, maybe I would have been to all those facilities already. Maybe not. But so yeah, there's lots of places I haven't been that I really like to, and those 2 places you mentioned are definitely 2 of them. I know Justin fairly well now. I've definitely spent some time with Ozzy as well. Just the 2 of us actually ended up out late one night when everybody else seemed to tap out, and it was just me and Ozzy left, and we had some good conversation. And it was cool. There's so many relationships I like to make stronger, but it's trying to find that balance of time between all the different relationships, because any good relationship, you have to put time into it. And I think sometimes I float around pretty heavily to where I don't get to form as strong a relationship with as many people as I'd like to, just for sheer amount of time that there is to really develop a deeper relationship with people. I've got to develop some with some people in particular, like my buddy Garrett over at Reach Out Reptiles. He and I have grown very close, and there's plenty of other folks too, but again, there's so many people that I'd love to have deeper relationships with that it's just not possible with the amount of time it takes to do all the work that I do, keep up with the family life, and take care of myself. And that part of that is relaxing and not talking to anybody or interacting with anybody for periods of time throughout the day. One of the people, but both those places that you mentioned, I'd love to go to Justin's place. In fact, I picked up a snake from him finally, like last year. And my plan was to go to his place and do a video feature there while I picked up the snake, but it just didn't work out for timing wise. And so I just had the snake shipped here instead. But I still really want to go there, especially now that I know a lot of his crew a lot better. Summer, who does all his videos over there, who just put out a video where she was basically featured on the channel more recently. I got to sit down with her too at Sinley, and she's awesome. She's got her own great channel, Girl with Scales, and she's great on video too. She's just a lovely person, and I'd love to go out there and spend time with them. It's like, it would be like, I feel the opposite of Nerd. Like Justin would be going like to the house of God for snakes, and whereas Nerd was going to like the house of Satan for snakes. You know what I mean? It's just kind of, I mean, like death metal Slayer versus like Justin's a Christian, and like just that difference. That it would be cool. I'd love to see that difference. That I feel like it'd be just that juxtaposition kind of thing, which I would love to. I love all of it. If there's one place, and I know that I'm not alone in this, as far as places that I'd like to go and places people would like to see documented as far as a place to go, and I don't know that anybody ever will. And that's the Bells out in Florida. Mark Bell.
I think I've heard of him. Oh yeah, I've heard of him. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I saw you got Tom on. When you were playing your intro, I didn't realize you had Tom on. He would be somebody to maybe get closer to that, but I just don't think it's going to happen. But from what I understand, they have probably one of the most impressive reptile facilities on the planet. That's what I understand. But as far as being able to go in and film, probably not.
Well, I would like to. Now you got me want to go. Now you got me want to get them on the channel and see what they got going on.
I've got a running thing out there. I challenge anybody who does these to try and get Mark Bell. You might be able to get Cam more easily, but I challenge anybody to get Mark Bell on it, even just an interview.
I'm gonna try. If I can do it, I'm bringing you in there to talk to him too. If I can do it, if I can get him, me and you gonna do it.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to that.
All right. Real quick, I want to shout out Flex and Pythons. He gave you a good compliment and said you don't look 40 in 10 years. He hopes he looks like you. If you get some time, please go check out his last video. He actually just did a reaction video of one of your videos.
Oh, sweet. I'll definitely have to check that out. Thanks. Oh, I wish he would have commented on my channel. He did that. Maybe he did. I missed it. I've definitely seen that name pop up on my channel. So thank you.
I'm much love, Flex and Pythons. I got to give you a hot seat question. So please. I was on the phone today with Jeremy, and I said I told him, I said I gotta ask Kusko, man. I gotta give him a hot seat question. So we love hearing you sing, man. You're on the guitar. I love it. When are we gonna get that Brass Man and that Kusko single?
Oh, dude, we were gonna collab on something a while back during the when COVID was running real hot and everybody was locked down. I had this track I wanted him to play horns on, and I just ended up doing it without the horns because of the production time was like, I basically record it in a day and then get it out the next day. So I just didn't feel like I had time to be like, Jeremy, can you do the horns? And then I knew he was busy too, so I didn't want to, inconvenience him or myself to make it happen. But it's long overdue at this point. Dude's a phenomenal musician, and just a cool dude, a good friend, and yeah, it's overdue. I guess we should. Maybe we should. You know what? I really like making Christmas songs or even Christmas parody songs. I just love Christmas music. Period. I'll be singing it. I'll be singing Silver Bells in the middle of June. So maybe what you're doing right now is you're sparking that. Is that come December there will be that Brass Man Triple B collab single of some kind of Christmas special. That's what I think. That's what I think is that. That's what's gonna happen.
I'm ready for it. I was on the phone with him. I said, I'm gonna ask Kusko this, and he was like, do it. And I was like, all right. So I'm actually gonna take this snippet and put it on my IG story and tag you both so we can get that song in December. Now I know you got a lot of a decent amount of snakes at your place, man. Do you got your eyes on anything new right now, or are you pretty much good right now?
I don't have Desert Ghost. As far as ball pythons go, I don't have Desert Ghost. I am looking to replace or get a new male indigo when my female is looking more ready. And so those, incorporating Desert Ghost into some of the ball python projects, indigo snakes, so that I can actually hopefully produce some captive bred indigos here. And that's about it. I'm slow growth over here with reptiles. I've said this, and this will hold true probably forever. I'm planning to max out at like 30 clutches a year at some point. Maybe 10 years from now. I don't know. So I'm not in any rush to like grow big ever, and even to grow
Right.
to what my max potential is anytime soon. Just like eventually.
Right. Well, I love what you're doing. Now I gotta ask, because you are amazing at what you do. Can you give us, because I want people to be able to come here, have fun, get a little knowledge. Can you give us some good new breeder advice for the people that kind of want to follow in you guys' footsteps?
Advice?
New breeder advice.
Oh, just do it because you like it. Don't look at it as a way to earn money. And I'd say that would go true for anything that you really want to do. Because it's not going to pan out that way. There's so many better things you can invest in money-wise that, A, will be more successful and have a lower risk rate, and you'll enjoy it more. There's so much advice. I mean, that's such a broad question. There's people say research, but also get your feet wet. Have lots of mentors to talk to. Have lots of people or in particular, find somebody that you really like what they're doing, and reach out to them and speak with them specifically. And if it's somebody that you really like what they're doing, ask them if they have time to like answer your questions on. I have a formal relationship with them. And Garrett says this, and it's true. If you want to do that with somebody, spend money with them, a lot of it. That'll make them much more willing to give you their time. I'm somebody. I will answer anybody's question. If somebody sends me a question and I see it, because sometimes they slip through in comments, or Facebook hides so many messages that come through apparently. I'll always answer anybody's question. But if you really want somebody to dedicate their time to you, that's a great way to convince them that that's probably a good idea for them to spend their time helping you out, because time is time, and they only got so much of it. I want to form relationships with all these people, like I said, but there's only so much time in any given day. And that would probably be the biggest thing, is find somebody. If you're looking to breed, find somebody that you think is doing it really well, and do everything in your power to form a solid relationship with that person, so that you can have that relationship and have them in your corner to talk to and bounce ideas off of. That's probably the best advice I could give.
Right. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Now, I love ball pythons. Oh man, shout out to my animal house and Venom Wonderful, man. I definitely appreciate you. Um, I definitely am getting more into the ball pythons. Always Evolving Pythons just sent me a free snake. And I just love it. He sent me a yellow belly. No, he sent me a spot nose yellow belly 100% het clown ball python. And I really just love it. And I say that to ask you, currently right now, ball python wise, I know you do the ball pythons and the scrub pythons, but
Did you
ball
say that was a
python
female?
wise, no, it's not a female, it's a male. I wish he would have sent me a female. That would have been, but I'm thankful for whatever he sent me. So he was like,
Yep.
"No, I'm sending you one right now," and I just love it now. And I say that to ask you, currently morph wise, ball python, wise, where's your heart at? What's your favorite morph right now?
Do you mean like single trait or
Yeah,
like
yes,
combo morph?
both.
So single trait, it's going to be Sunset, extremely biased. Combo, Clown Pied. And that's it. It's that simple. I'm
Okay.
working on the triple head. I'm working on is Sunset Clown Pied right now.
They said that in the chat. They said you better. Well, somebody just actually said that. I'm looking to buy that sunset. You better deliver that thing to Vegas.
That I don't. Whoever said that definitely didn't give me any money.
uh, hilarious, man. Now I got to give you a hot seat question. So shout out to Feely and Antoine, High Desert Pythons. They just did that wrestling match for you, Sark, and we definitely got to support you, Sark. But the hot seat question: if Kusko was to wrestle somebody for you, Sark, who would it be?
Oh, I don't know. Somebody that I could beat would be great. I don't lose very well. I'm fine with losing. I've got my buddy Bradley beats me in arm wrestling all the time, And now he's actually, and I don't feel as bad about it because actually my buddy Bradley, who Miguel's got me on video, you know, Miguel was like, I think Miguel was salty because I beat him at the weight loss challenge. And he was like, he wouldn't challenge me in anything else again after I beat him in the first thing we ever did. But he filmed me arm wrestling Bradley at the end of the auction at Tinley one time. And Bradley just whooped me. And he just had to make sure he put that in the video so he could show that people beat me and stuff. But Bradley is now like, he just won like, I think second place in his state for arm wrestling championships. So I'm like, all right, I don't feel so bad about losing to Bradley anymore. But my point is, yeah, somebody I could beat would be great. Like maybe not an Antoine or somebody who like, you know, trains MMA.
We gotta find somebody, man. Now, you know, you to me are definitely just an icon in the hobby, and I just love talking to you. So, you know, I want to ask you a question. If Steve Irwin was alive and you could ask him one question, what would it be?
Would you consider never going in the ocean again?
Kusko, you killing me, man. You killing me, sir.
Hot seat. As I feel like you need a quick answer because it's a hot seat question, right?
Yeah. I love it, man. Now, you know, you breed. You don't really. You're a hobbyist breeder, and you told me that before. You know, you do the ball pythons. Everybody's laughing. March shout out to March Gamer. Everybody's laughing. You do the ball pythons and the scrub pythons, right? You know, how different is it breeding them? You know, which one is easier? Which one is more harder to breed?
I have not produced any scrub pythons yet. I went to
What
go
was
try
the other python?
Wait, say again?
I said you were breeding something. You were breeding something other than ball pythons, I believe. What was the second one?
Oh, I have produced blood pythons.
Blood pythons. That's what I meant. I'm tired. I just got off work. Blood pythons. What the difference between? You know, how hard is it to breed them? You know, talk about some of the differences. Which one is easier to breed?
I mean, I only have one female blood python, so that's all I have to go off of. I've only ever bred her, and she. I mean, you know, you just put the snakes together, and it's up to them, really. It's like as long as the environment's good. There's for other species, you know, there's other things to figure out. You know, all this stuff's been laid out there for ball pythons for the most part. You know, everybody that's had success with them is the information is like there's information overload on that, so that's fairly easy because of that. You know, if we didn't have all that information database out there, so readily available from so many different people on such a huge level, then it probably wouldn't be as easy as it is because you wouldn't have all that information and you wouldn't know exactly what works really well. And they're also fairly prolific species. There are other species that are probably harder to breed. You know, this is not such a great question for me to give a good answer on because I don't have the experience to really say. But blood pythons, you know, they keep very similarly to ball pythons. You know, less food because they have slower metabolism, slightly less heat. They don't like it as warm on the hot spot as ball pythons do. But as far as the rest of it, it seems pretty much similar because, you know, they're both pretty fossorial species. You know, they don't really do a whole lot of climbing, though you will see males, I guess, climbing in the wild a little bit for ball pythons. Blood pythons are extremely sedentary. So it's not much harder, in my opinion. I have had people tell me they've been trying to, you know, breed blood pythons for a long time and no success. I don't know exactly what they're doing. I didn't go as far as to ask exactly what they're doing wrong. If you got the things set together and you put the snakes together and they like each other's smell and they breed, I don't know. Again, this is I'm not going to give any information I don't have because I don't have it.
Right.
And the lack of experience is why I'm struggling with this question because I've produced like a total of 30 something, maybe 40 ball python clutches in my life and 2 clutches of blood pythons. And that's my experience in producing, you know, in breeding snakes. So
yeah, well, you got more experience than me. Now, is there something that you haven't done that you want to do in the hobby?
Yeah. I want to get some of the big people that don't care for each other too much or don't seem to or have not things have happened and get them back together and form a more united front from people who I consider leaders in this hobby.
I love that. I love that answer, man. I won't keep you too long because, like I said, I know you're with your family, so we're gonna let you get ready to go back to your family. But just talk to me too. You have so much knowledge. You're crushing at what you do. Are you pretty much self-taught? With the breeding?
Oh, all the information out there. I watched a lot of Justin's one-on-one videos from back in the day, and I read plenty of books. So if you consider that self-taught, I ask questions here and there. One person that comes to mind, the first person that comes to mind is Jerry Robertson, and ran a group that was called "You Ain't Seen My Balls" for a long time, and now it's called, oh my gosh, what is the new name for it? When Facebook was shutting all kinds of groups, they shut down that group and they had to reform it. And I'm not on Facebook groups too much at all anymore, so I don't remember what the new group is. But Jerry Robertson was a big help in answering any questions I had. Any little question like, hey, just what do you incubate at? Something simple like that. Jerry Robertson was always a fantastic resource and always willing to help, and does help lots of hobbyists. A lot of people can, I think, thank Jerry for always being willing to answer those questions and just be ready with them uh, at any time. I've been wanting to get him on, actually, and I have had him on for like a live stream thing, or not a live stream, but like back when we had Positive Python's page. We're doing a thing like we do a banner contest, a photo contest every week, and whoever won it would have the opportunity to go live in the group. And Jerry did that one time, and I asked him if he would come on Triple B TV, and do a thing. And he wants to get his new facility set up and ready first. But where I'm self-taught more is in video. I learned all that stuff from. I had no mentors when it came to video. I didn't have anybody that I would ask questions of. I just went crazy, went to town on YouTube videos, and anything I wanted to learn how to do, I would watch videos and then put it into practice, and that's where I'm really self-taught. Even music, like I had instructors, I took piano lessons, I played in school bands and had teachers and stuff like that. So even though I taught myself guitar and drums, I still learned from music, but video is the one thing I can say I'm 100% just self-taught.
Right. Before you go, I do want to know, because like I said, we love your music. We love when you're on that guitar and you're singing. Do you have any music on Apple Music?
I should put stuff up there. I mean, I have bands that I played with that do have music on Apple Music. Free Sound and Guidance Band and Tripped Up. Those groups have music on Apple that you can go to. I haven't put any of my own, like all my little fun projects I do for myself. Mostly they're only on YouTube, and people have mentioned that, and maybe I should consider doing that, because I made this song "Pee on a Tree," and I put it on my channel that it has it's just a random channel. It's called Music Man. That I put just some random videos on sometimes every now and then, or just like where I log my Patreon videos a lot of the time. And that song, the thumbnail was just the reverse shot of me. You can see the stream coming out onto the tree. Just from like behind the pants or whatever. And it says Billboard #1 hit song as a play on, going #1 and being #1. And that, I just looked at that video yesterday. It's got like 400,000 views. So I should have put that on Apple Music. So I should do that. But no, unless it's a band that I was playing with, I don't have any of my music up on Apple or anything like that.
Well, you need to get some on there, man. I think that the reptile community would definitely support you, because we love hearing you sing. And like I said, I know you're with your family. Again, we'll let you go. Only got 2 more questions, and then we'll let you go. You run multiple channels, and I love it. Your Whiskey Wimps, your Kusko channel, Triple B TV. You run multiple channels. What has been your favorite thing about running your YouTube channels? Has it been just the knowledge you have received, just meeting people? What's been some of your favorite things about running your channels on YouTube?
Definitely forming communities and meeting real people through them. There's been so many people I've gotten to meet, and people that I call real friends now, and people that are real big influences in my life in person because of it. And that's got to be the biggest benefit, is having put that out there and getting to connect, and then getting to reach people on deeper levels, especially through the vlog channel. We haven't done it recently, but we need to do a few more of those and put out things that are, because I have a lot of I'm a fairly deep thinker. I do a lot of thinking, and sometimes it's hard for me to get the deepest and most sincere thoughts out across through video and communicate it well, but sometimes I'm able to, it seems, because aside from the actual friends and people that I have relationships with, when somebody randomly that I don't know and I've never met before comes up and says that I've changed their life on some deep level, or even I've even had people say that I saved their life. That's huge. That's I don't know how I could possibly find anything greater than that, is to have actually touched somebody through a video enough to where they will come up to me and just pour their heart out to me and say that I saved their life. That's, you can't ask for anything greater than that, I don't think, to come from something as simple as a YouTube video. What could be as simple as a YouTube video.
Right. That's monumental, man. I love that answer. Now, before you leave, because like I said, you're with your. Before I ask my question, man, what's because I know you have a daughter. What she's going as for Halloween tomorrow?
She's the most girly thing you could probably imagine. She's a unicorn princess. I mean, she's a princess riding a unicorn. Like, it's one of those things where it looks like you're like riding the animal type of deal. Yeah, she's a unicorn princess.
A unicorn princess. I love that. Now my son, he's going as a vampire.
Vampire, right? Well, my boy, my oldest boy is Godzilla, and the middle boy is a great white shark. So
you're gonna have fun with your family tomorrow, man. I love that. Now, before we finish out, I appreciate you, but I want to ask you one last question. I feel like you leaving your mark in the hobby. You're well respected, well looked up to. You leaving your mark. Now, I want to play a game. It's a hot seat question. Let's pretend I'm a movie producer and I'm making a movie about Brian Kusko's life. Who am I getting to play you in the movie? Not you, though. Anybody in the world. Anybody. Who's playing you?
Oh, man. Okay. There's one person came to mind, which is ridiculous. And another one came to mind, which is also coming from a ridiculous story. But maybe the guy who played Rufio in Hook. I feel like he'd at least be able to be like, oh, that looks kind of like Brian, But that's strictly on a looks perspective, I guess. Oh, you know what? There's also the guy that was one of the werewolves in the Twilight movies. I'm spacing on his name.
My wife's here. She might know. That is hilarious. I know who you're talking about in this Twilight movie, one of the werewolves. You do look like that. That's crazy. That is funny, man. That is funny. Kusko, man, Sir, I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this for me. I'm not going to hold you up. I want you to go enjoy your family. Maybe 6-7 months down the road, we can get you back on and just talk to you, because you're amazing. And I've made my mind up. Just talking to you, I want a snake from you. Like, I got an empty cage, and I was telling my wife that, I want a snake. I'm getting ready to start saving up. I want a snake from Kusko, man. So just I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. She said his real name is Taylor, and she said,
oh
yes.
Yeah, Taylor something. Yeah, you're right.
I made my mind up, man. I want to get a snake from you because, like, I look up to you and I admire you so much. Thank you for just giving us 40 minutes of your time and just talking reptiles and just talking in general, man. I appreciate you. I'm gonna let you go. You have a good day, okay?
You too, Derek. Hey, man, keep it up, dude. You do a really fantastic job with this. I'm happy to come back anytime because what a great job you do.
I appreciate that. You have an amazing night, sir.
You too, man.
How awesome was that? We were blessed to talk to Brian Kusko. This was round 2. We gave us an amazing 40 minutes. His name is Latner, Taylor Latner. Honey, you're silly. Brian Kusko is an icon. Thank you, Shane. Thank you. Icon in the hobby. He does just some incredible stuff. Amazing round 2. Just sitting there talking to him, just having fun. Thank you for checking out the podcast. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Real quick, I'll give a few shout outs. 2 big shout outs, actually. So let's go through the podcast. Shout out Ball Python Love, Iron Dog Reptile, Shane, My Animal House. Thank you for that banger, that $20 banger. Much love to you. Shout out to Intel. Everybody in the chat. Just Shane Henderson, Marsh Gamer, Not Lou. Venom Wonderful, Flexing Pythons, Moon Over Miami, my wife. I just love you. Thank you. Nixon Reptiles. Thank you for coming, man. This was an amazing podcast. Father Son Reptiles Moon over my head. Thank you. I appreciate you all, especially my super chatters. Shout out to my whole reptile community. Make sure y'all go subscribe to them. And when you leave this channel, go over to Kurtwood's stream. Amazing, amazing guy. Um, and make sure you go check out Flexing Python's reaction video with Brian Kusko. Definitely a good guy. We definitely want to support him. This is Big Reptile Talk, man. Kusko, man, I appreciate you, sir. And like I said, man, it's just something special when you talk to these people. That's why I do these interviews, because each person brings something that I can't put my finger on, but it's just special. So thank you guys for tuning in, man. Until the next podcast. Hey, shout out to Flex and Pythons. I love you, man. I appreciate you. Much love. Um, until the next podcast, we out of here, man. This is Big Reptile Talk. See you on the next one.